In the gate. And they're off. Irish Royalty began well, so did Horace Mann. And here's Jam Session rushing up in between horses, and Jam Session up to take the lead. Please Focus comes right to him, and now it's Please Focus just in front. Jam Session a neck back second. Bolt Supremacy a close-up third. Horace Mann will be fourth, 4 lengths off the lead, followed by Irish Royalty, who broke well. At the back of the field, Smart Code on the outside of Agency. Down the hill, and Please Focus is the pace setter. Jam Session clearly into second, and Bolt Supremacy not far behind, 2 off the pace in third. Horace Mann races in fourth. Now Smart Code is underway. He's wide, but passing horses extreme outside, followed by Irish Royalty and Agency. They have a quarter of a mile to run, and it's Please Focus just in front, shifting about. Here's Smart Code with a big sustained bid, and Smart Code is the new leader. And Agency in his turf debut loves the grass. And here comes Agency, has to get to Smart Code. Smart Code erratic. Agency flying at him on the outside. Agency or Smart Code, Agency. Agency got up. Another good ride from Antonio Fresu. Smart Code completes the Mark Glad Exacta. It's a photo for third. And they're off. Miss K-Line and I Love You Too, both out alertly. Love You Mean It now coming through quickly at the rail. And then it's Run for My Honey, close up between rivals, now a joint second. The gray is Ta-Ta for now, 4 lengths off the lead along the rail, and 2 more to Moving Like a Winner. I Love You Too passes the 5/8 pole with a 2-length advantage. Love You Mean It off the rail to chase in second. They're followed by Run for My Honey and Ta-Ta for now right together. A length back to Miss K-Line, 3 off the lead, and Moving Like a Winner trails. Into the far turn, it's I Love You Too, confronted by Love You Mean It. It's a love fest on the front end with Run for My Honey, a length and a half back third. Miss K-Line 4 wide. Ta-Ta for now is down at the rail, and another 2 to Moving Like a Winner. A quarter of a mile to go, and Love You Mean It up to take a narrow lead. I Love You Too, trying to fight back in doing so. They're head and head coming to the 8th pole. 3 back to Run for My Honey in third. Final furlong, Love You Mean It on the outside, and I Love You Too, neither one giving an inch. Miss K-Line on the outside takes third as Love You Mean It gets the upper hand under Kyle Frey and will score. Love You Mean It by 2. I Love You Too was second. Third went to Miss K-Line, and Run for My Honey was fourth. Stormy Gal going in. And they're off in the Phasic Tipton debutante. And Becky's Dream fires out on top. Grand Slam Smile. Crazy Hot, 2 off the pace in third, and a gap before to Stormy Gal. Past the half-mile pole, it's Becky's Dream, the pace setter. Grand Slam Smile, 3/4 back, and a 3 wide Crazy Hot. Now it's 8 more to Stormy Gal. They passed the 3/8 pole, and Becky's Dream is the leader. Grand Slam Smile and Crazy Hot making their moves at the same time. And there goes Crazy Hot. And Crazy Hot with a wide bid Up to battle for the lead. At the rail, Becky's Dream. These two squaring off. Becky's Dream digging in and has plenty left. Crazy Hot in the center of the track. Passed now by Grand Slam Smile. Coming to the 16th pole, and Grand Slam Smile with big strides trying to get to Becky's Dream. Becky's Dream a length. Grand Slam Smile set down. Grand Slam Smile gets up under Frank Alvarado to win the Phasic Tipton debutante. Becky's Dream was second. Crazy Hot finished third. Remember, show wagering. Be funded. Up next, the fourth in 22 minutes. Crimson Rose to the outside. And they're off. Very awkward start for Freedom Lass. Aloha Kitten is going out for the lead. Crimson Rose. Warriors Moon now moving up to take second as Aloha Kitten is back to third. Shared Future is fourth. Then it's Unfaithful Ways, and the favorite Freedom Lass has her work cut out for her from the back of the group. Rounding the first turn, and it is a ranked Crimson Rose. Crimson Rose sprinting clear past the 6 furlong mark, has it by 3. Warriors Moon is second by the same margin. Then Aloha Kitten and Shared Future right together, followed by Freedom Lass and Unfaithful Ways. They've taken closer order behind the loose leader, and that leader is Crimson Rose heading to the half-mile pole in full flight with a 4-length lead. Warriors Moon second, then Aloha Kitten and Shared Future right together, followed by Freedom Lass and Unfaithful Ways. Into the far turn, Tiago Pereira and Crimson Rose still with a big lead. Now Aloha Kitten taking up the chase. Just had to steady behind Warriors Moon. Aloha Kitten lost a little bit of ground. On the far outside, Unfaithful Ways is underway. Freedom Lass is behind horses, now needs racing room. She'd have to be a mile the best to score from here. Top of the lane, and Warriors Moon up now to battle with Unfaithful Ways, who has swept up to take command. And Unfaithful Ways opens up 3. Freedom Lass is underway and she's closing, but it is Unfaithful Ways by 3 close to home, and it's going to be Unfaithful Ways and Hector Barrios to get the money. Shared Future outfinishes Freedom Lass to complete the exacta, then Warriors Moon. And they're off. Book Smart, first out of the gate. Chicks Dig It with the yellow cap, has speed. Quick Buck on the outside, Devil Moon in between them. Then Devil Be Me about 3 lengths off the lead. JD's Rude Boy and Power Train at the back. Book Smart takes him toward the half-mile pole, opening up a length and a half on Devil Moon in second. Then it's Quick Buck. Devil Be Me on the inside takes third. Chicks Dig It is 4 lengths off the lead, 2 clear of JD's Rude Boy and Power Train. They're into the far turn behind Book Smart. Devil Moon pressing hard, and Devil Moon takes the lead with 3/8 of a mile to run. At the rail, Book Smart is asked to counter. Devil Be Me is third in striking range, 2.5 off the pace, followed by Chicks Dig It in fourth, and then comes Quick Buck. They're 1/4 of a mile from home, and it's Devil Moon in front. Devil Be Me on the outside takes up the chase. Chicks Dig It finishing strongly in the center as Booksmart weakens. Here's Chicks Dig It on the outside with good momentum coming after the 2 Devils. A 16th to go. Devil Be Me gets the jump on Chicks Dig It, and Devil Be Me is strong to the finish. Devil Be Me and Giovanni Franco win it. Tight photo for second, either Devil Moon or Chicks Dig It. It's a photo for fourth as well between JD's Rude Boy and Quick Buck.
Rest of the horses.
Maybe just getting her to jog nicely and forwardly. I think some jockeys prefer to jog a little bit
hesitant starters. Just a little hesitant. He's in now. And they're off. Bella Volpe is out very quickly. Lulu Lemon Drop in the center gets the lead easily, however. And then it's Picture of a Lady on the outside. LT's Choice, fourth in the early going. Billy Galliman, 3 wide outside the Flying Pharaoh. And Candy on top at the back of the field. Lulu Lemon Drop goes a bit wide into the first turn, but is in control. Getting over to the rail now and opening up 2. Picture of a Lady in second, followed by Bella Volpe and Billy Galliman. Billy Galliman now takes third. LT's Choice is 5 lengths off the leader, followed by the Flying Pharaoh, who's making a little bit of an early bid, and Candy on top trails. They're heading to the half-mile pole, and it's Juan Hernandez and Lulu Lemon Drop sailing along uncontested. They're in front a length and a half to Picture of a Lady second. The Flying Pharaoh has made it all the way up to third. Billy Galliman between, Bella Volpe at the rail, LT's Choice, and Candy on top has to pick it up from behind. Midway on the far turn, Lulu Lemon Drop a half length to Picture of a Lady. They've pulled 4 clear of the Flying Pharaoh in third. Candy on top rallying from behind. Top of the stretch, Picture of a Lady ridden to the lead over Lulu Lemon Drop, who's battling willingly in second. 5 back to the Flying Pharaoh and Candy on top. It's Picture of a Lady opening up close to home. And Picture of a Lady, another for Antonio Fresu, wins it by about 2. Lulu Lemon Drop second. Candy on top rallied for third. Then the Flying Pharaoh and LT's Choice. In the gate. And they're off in the Phasic Tipton Futurity, and Tranche like a rocket opens up 2 in a hurry. Refocus comes away a joint second. Going Mobile, Miramati on the outside, and 3 back to Next Level. It's Tranche into the far turn, leading the way by 2.5. Refocus guided off the rail to chase him in second. Going Mobile between, Miramati 3 deep, 2 off the pace with less than 3 furlongs to run. The distant trailer is Next Level approaching the quarter pole. Tranche a length and a half. Miramati takes second. Refocus, Going Mobile, losing ground. They're coming past the quarter pole, and Tranche means business. Opens up 3, and he's in front now by 3.5. Miramati, Refocus, battling for second inside the 8th pole, and it's Tranche, a good-looking son of Collected, making short work of the Phasic Tipton Futurity field. Tranche, ultra impressive, romps home by 7 widening lengths. Miramati second best, then Refocus and Going Mobile. To post. Okay. King Apollo. And they're off. Subsidized out quickly, but it turns out to be a very even start. Yogi Boy in the center is now vying for the lead, as Subsidized, who broke on top, is now last. Beige flashing plenty of early foot, just a half length back in second. Then comes Jack Six-Pack, Woodaton in the lime colors racing in between horses, and on the outside of them, Cali Bay all the way up to take third. Dancing Rinka, just steadying an ever so slight amount, is about 3 lengths off the lead. Then comes Cherubic Factor, King Apollo, and Subsidize at the back of the field. Around the far turn, it's Yogi Boy on the outside, just in front. Beige ahead away second. A length and a half, Cali Bay in third. At the rail, Jack Six-Pack with Dancing Rinka in between horses, only about 2 lengths off the lead. Woodington is now swinging to the far outside. They're at the top of the stretch. It's wide open, and the leader is Beige with a furlong left to go. Cherubic Factor with his customary late rally, and King Apollo is coming fast from the back of the field. Cherubic Factor has to hold off King Apollo in the final stages. Cherubic Factor is still full of run, and Cherubic Factor wins it by a length and a half. King Apollo was second, Beige third, then Subsidized battling with Jack Sixpack. Bring the gate. And they're off. Cowboy Mike out quickly, but it's Seattle Surf who's a little bit faster. And now here's Mish. And Mish up to take the lead from Cowboy Mike. On the outside of them, Big Baby is in the mix early on, only about a length or so off the leader. Down at the rails, Seattle Surf is only 2 lengths off the pace. And the Big Chizola is in that group as well. Far outside, Imperial Hornet has 3 lengths to make up. Andy, can you hear me? El Rey Dorado is next, followed by Don't Fight the Fed, who's about 6 lengths off the lead as the field rounds the far turn. The leader is Mish, and it's a narrow advantage. A neck in front of Cowboy Mike, who presses hard from second. 2 more, the Big Chizola swings out 3 deep in third as they reach the top of the stretch. And the leader is still Mish, digging in very gamely. It's a 2-length advantage with a furlong left to go. Cowboy Mike is in second. They are followed by the Big Chizola, Granny's IPA, and Don't Fight the Fed is finishing well. It's going to be Mish in a wire-to-wire debut. Second goes to the Big Chizola. Third was Cowboy Mike, followed by Don't Fight the Fed and Granny's IPA. Back. They're off. Quick start for Worse Reed Sanchez. Talk Less, Work More now sprints up to take over. Stamp My Passport moves into second. OU Babe well spotted at the rail in third. Then it's Mo Boo racing on the outside of Worse Reed Sanchez, who settles toward the back of the field. Another couple back to Moogie's Son. The 2 trailers are Irish Heatwave and stretch running Big Bet Joffin Safa is at the back of the field. It's Talk Less, Work More, setting the tempo, in hand, in command. Stamp My Passport chases from second. OU Babe at the rails, snugly in hand third. Mobu fourth. Worse Reed Sanchez races in fifth. A gap of 3 to Moogie's Son. Irish Heatwave is second to last, and Big Bet Joffin Safa. Half mile to go. Talk Less, Work More. In front and uncontested, a length and a half to Stamp My Passport. OU Babe, Mobu is fourth. Worse Reed Sanchez, not called on yet, 5 lengths off the lead. Big Bet Joffin Safa is underway, passing a couple of rivals, both Moogie's Son and Irish Heatwave. Approaching the quarter pole, Talk Less, Work More, hounded by Stamp My Passport. Mobu, OU Babe looking for racing rooms, got some run. Behind them, Worse Reed Sanchez, Big Bet Joffin Safa on the outside. They're at the top of the stretch, and it is still Talk Less, Work More, clinging to a very narrow lead. Stamp My Passport, OU Babe still 3 back in third. Worse Reed Sanchez and Mobu. Talk Less, Work More, Stamp My Passport, Stamp My Passport, Talk Less, Work More, Stamp My Passport. Stalked, pounced, and gives Antonio Fresu a triple. Talk Less, Work More did everything but win. We're in the gate. And they're off. She's Resilient is going out for the lead. Doris Mail on the inside matching strides, and Denim and Gold. They're keeping the pressure on one another with Vita Lera and Pequena Tormenta right together, racing 2 lengths in front of Cliquish. At the back of the field is Tip Top Gal. Doris May is the quickest of the quick, heading past the 3.5 pole by a length and a half. She's Resilient is in second. Then Denim and Gold third. Pequena Tormenta clearly fourth and closing in 4 lengths off the lead. Another 3. Cliquish is underway from the back of the field, has 6 to make up, followed by Vita Lera and Tip Top Gal. Doris May hugs the rail and goes on for home with a 3-length advantage and a furlong left to run. In the center, Pequena Tormenta picking up some momentum. Denim and Gold is in between horses. Pequena Tormenta is really kicking into high gear now as Doris May has a 2-length lead. Doris May, though, is too strong, and Doris May all the way. Second to Pequena Tormenta. Then it's a 3-way photo for the rest among She's Resilient, Denim and Gold, and down on the inside, Cliquish. We're in the gate. And they're off. Haley Levade breaks out very alertly, but it's Lady J who sprints through rapidly and, in fact, has the pedal to the metal. There's Lady J opening up 4 lengths. Speed Lane moves through on the inside now to battle for second. Haley Levade is backing off, and racing in third is I'll Buy a Deer, not far behind the pacemaker. Running with the boys in the pink silks is next, about 5 or 6 lengths off the lead as they head down the hill behind Lady J. It's Lady J by 2, Speed Lane second, and then it's I'll Buy a Deer third. The field is approaching the quarter pole. A gap of 4, back to Running with the boys. Haley Levade has lost some ground. New Pi Lambda is down on the inside. A wide bid from Over Attracted, who gets underway. Red Colors has a lot of work to do as the field straightens up for home. It's Lady J still with a 3-length lead and a furlong to finish the job. Chased intently on the outside by Running with the boys, who's now closing in stoutly. Lady J Running with the boys, taking off though, and Running with the boys comes to scoop her up late. Running with the boys, and Hector Barrios take care of business in the finale. Lady J and a flying Over Attracted were in a battle for the second spot, and in behind them, Speed Lane.
To all the dads out there, a very, very happy Father's Day. We're delighted that you decided to spend all or part of your day with us. And of course, it's a special day here at Santa Anita. Not only are we entertaining the fathers, but we've also got a mandatory payout on the 20-cent pick six. Everything must go because it's closing day. And if you've seen the card, it's a tremendous card. Certainly plenty of value. Hopefully you'll walk out of here with more money than what you walked in with. And of course, you know, being a parent, if you're a mother or a father, that the bond with your children is very, very special. And it's certainly applicable to our guests today. They eat, sleep, and breathe horse racing. They're a father and son team, but maybe more importantly, they're best friends. Please allow me to introduce our special guests for today, Dennis and Shane O'Neill. Gentlemen, welcome to the seminar and happy Father's Day, Dennis.
Thank you, Tom. We're excited to be here.
You should be. We're excited to have you as well. Now, did I overstate the obvious, Dennis, and that is maybe that you and Shane are best friends?
Yes. It's
I don't know if he feels the same way, but
kind of sad to say that from my perspective. But yeah, lots of road trips. We went to the U.S. Open Thursday, and
you've seen a few Colorado Avalanche games in the past.
Yes, we have. We went to Denver a couple times. We went to Calgary last year for a game, and big Avalanche fan.
And you've flown Mr. Redham's private jet once or twice. That certainly makes air travel a lot easier than going commercial.
It is unbelievable. We love those road trips.
Dennis, your dad brought you to the track as well, so this is kind of a generational type of thing. Let's talk about your dad for a moment. He's no longer with us, but what did he mean to you, and how did he introduce you to the sport?
He used to take us to Detroit race course when it was around in Detroit. That was, God, 60 years ago, I guess, 50 years ago.
We used to be the young guys. Now all of a sudden we're the old guys.
This birthday, I just turned 60, and this one really hit me. That's old. But anyways, he used to take us to workouts in the morning and just kind of got the bug. And we used to go to DRC and just absolutely fell in love with it. Then we came out to California. I was about 12. And Doug really got into it too. And my dad used to take us to Santa Anita and Del Mar, and I've just been hooked since I was a little kid. Just absolutely love the animals. Incredible.
Shane, do you remember the first time you came to the racetrack? Do you have a vivid memory of that?
You know, I was born across the street at Methodist Hospital, like many.
You were doomed.
I was, yeah. So no, but I think going to the backside, Clocker's Corner every weekend morning, those are the first memories for me.
Now, little birdie told me that you were worried about your dad embarrassing you, but you shouldn't be worried about your dad embarrassing you because I'm going to embarrass you.
Uh-oh.
Let's pull up a picture, which I think was taken maybe even before the internet was born. And that would be a picture of you and your dad and your uncle at the Kentucky Derby, I believe. Look at that little tiger there next to your dad. Do you remember, Dennis, what Kentucky Derby this was?
That has to be 2012.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
11 years ago, right?
Yeah, I'll have another. That was, it was just when we were starting to gain some momentum as far as horses and stuff. And that was the one that kind of put us over the top. And,
who are the two bodyguards next to Doug on his right?
That's his son, Daniel, and Kalen. Kalen just enrolled at University of Miami, and Daniel is running Little Caesars in La Fuente. So,
and Shane, you're a freshman at UCLA as well. Don't be embarrassed. You can hold your head high. We all have pictures like that. That's nothing to be embarrassed about. I mean, a zillion kids would rather be at the Kentucky Derby than somewhere else. Do you have a memory of that?
I remember. I'll never forget the Derby that year. I had a lot of third grade homework to make up on the plane. I was drowning in assignments that I missed. But oh my gosh, that was the best trip ever. I'll never forget that restaurant. Remember after we won that night, we're at the top of the Galt House in Kentucky on a rotating restaurant.
The river.
Oh, it's just fantastic.
And don't forget about Uncle Steve. You had a lot of interactions with him at an early age as well.
Yeah, there's still an HRTV clip somewhere on the internet that
with Elizabeth Ellis, I believe, right, interviewing you.
That will live in infamy. Yeah.
The word hockey certainly played an important part of that interview.
Yes.
Dennis, you mentioned I'll have another, and of course you found him at a sale. You're a very successful bloodstock agent. You discovered 2 Kentucky Derby winners and 1 Preakness winner at the sale as well. What was it about I'll have another that kind of caught your eye that you wanted to buy it from Mr. Redham? Just
the way he moved, and he was by a Cider Flower Alley who wasn't real popular.
So this was a 2-year-old in training sale.
It was a 2-year-old in training sale at OBS. Barry Eisenman was the consignor. I know he was really high on him, and they were hoping to get 60 or 80,000 for him. He just kind of fell through, and I sat there and stunned kind of when I bought him for 35. I remember calling Paul and telling him, what
We
I
got a
thought.
steal, huh?
Well, actually, that's not what he said. He was like, well, I really don't need any $35,000 horses, Dennis. And I said,
Shows you
I
that
really
the game's
like
not
this
an
one."
exact science, right?
No, it's far from it. It is. You can't measure heart. The one thing, I buy a lot of bad horses, and you just can't measure heart, and that's the tough part of my job.
When you actually started training, maybe either on the farm or at the track, did you know that you had something special, or did it take them a while to develop?
No, I know we knew early on. I remember playing golf with Paul at Shady Canyon. We were walking down, and Doug called me, and he never would call me about workouts, but he called me and said, "Man, this I'll have another. He can really run." And I said, "Oh, great! For maiden 40 or maiden 50, we're in great shape." And he said, no, this horse will never, ever run for a tag. And I was like, "He's that good?" He goes, "Yeah, he's really, really good."
Unbelievable. Now, Shane, I embarrassed you, but I don't think this next picture is going to embarrass you. Let's take a look at a more recent picture, and it's a picture of you being a pilot, believe it or not. You actually have a pilot license, and in the plane with you was none other than your dad, who I think maybe took a few muscle relaxers in order to enjoy the ride. And lo and behold, look in the back. That's your grandmother Dixie, enjoying the plane ride as well. Where were you guys headed this particular day?
Oh, that was such an awesome trip. We head down to
Easy
Del
for
Mar.
you to say.
Well, last summer, during the middle of the Del Mar meet, we took off at Almonte, went into Palomar, Carlsbad, drove about 15 minutes down to Del Mar, enjoyed a Saturday of races. That was such an awesome trip.
That is the only way to go, right?
Oh.
We've all fought that traffic on the 5 freeway, and there is no better way to go. How long is the flight time from El Monte to Carlsbad?
About 35 minutes in the air. No,
Yeah.
not much traffic in the air.
It was actually kind of scary because I'm not a good flyer. And I remember he cut down to the coast, and we were going down the coast, and I could see like a big plane coming towards us.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Yes, and it was a Southwest plane, and I was like, "Shane, you do see that plane coming at us, right?"
Don't you
He
hate
goes,
backseat drivers?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. He goes, "It's 500 feet above us," and I'm like, 500 feet? That's nothing. So for me, it was a very stressful. Thank God for Xanax.
Now, do you have aspirations, Shane, of maybe being a commercial pilot or even like a private pilot?
Well, we'll see how it goes after college. I think right now it's a hobby, and if I had, financially, if I was able to keep it as a hobby, it'd be the most awesome hobby to have. But we'll see where the industry's at after college. But I could certainly see myself going in the industry. Yeah.
What does it cost to rent a plane for the day to fly down to Del Mar from El Monte? Roughly.
So, yeah, it's around $150 an hour, and that covers everything, fuel and everything. So the full trip round trip was just shy of $300.
But
Yeah.
well worth it.
Well worth it, yeah.
You should start a charter service for the horse players traveling from Santa Anita down to Del Mar on a daily basis. You'd easily pay for college tuition.
That could, yeah, we'd have some customers for sure, frequent flyers.
We're done embarrassing Shane. We're going to find out who he and his dad Dennis like on today's 12 race card. Again, an incredible card put together by the racing office. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the minimal amount of early changes on today's closing day card here at the Great Race Place.
Good afternoon. It's actually morning. Good morning. And happy Father's Day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is fast, the turf is firm, and the rail on the turf is at 0 feet. Here are the early changes. We have mandatory payouts in all pools today. First race on the card has no changes. In the second race, number 3 El Magnifico 2 over, 5 Osage Creek 2 pounds over. Changes in the third. Fourth race, we have a blinker note. Race 5 is the grade 3 San Juan Capistrano. Just the one blinker note. In the sixth, we start a special middle pick 4 with this 12 race card. 7 stay in the game, 3 pounds over. The seventh begins the Rainbow 6. 346,000 in the carryover. It's a mandatory payout today. No changes. In the eighth, number 1 Broadway Unions, 3 pounds over. 9 Extortion, 2 pounds over. Race 9, number 3 Benster, 1 pound over. 10th race, scratch the also eligibles, 11 and 12. In the 11th race, just a blinker note. Race 12, number 3, Precision Strike, 1 over. 4, Defensor Fortis, 4 pounds over. 7, Big Attitude, 5 pounds over. 8, Mystification, 2 pounds over. 11, Heartbreak Kid, 3 over. And scratch 13 and 14. Those are the changes for our closing day card. Mandatory payouts in all pools. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. Tom has the father and son team of Dennis and Shane O'Neill.
Welcome back. Happy Father's Day and happy closing day. We've got the father and son tandem of Dennis O'Neill and Shane O'Neill. They eat, sleep, and breathe horse racing, as I mentioned in the opening. Shane, of course, your dad is your mentor, and a question for you. What's the most important handicapping lesson you learned from him that you apply on a daily basis?
Gosh, I think the big thing that he's taught me is he's a big sheets player. I mean, he's got the Ragazins with him right now, and it's a big thing is the bounce game. He's big into bounces. So
Do you believe it?
I'm in between. I think it's really important to look at how old the horse is when comparing how they've run recently. You know, younger horses are going to be developing. Older horses, they run a big number that's out of the ordinary. I generally don't like to bet them back and be over bet for me.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. And Dennis, what was the most important handicapping lesson your dad or maybe even your brother gave that you apply on a regular basis?
My dad was a big pace guy. He didn't like workouts. He strictly went by the form. And
He was perfect for Southern California.
He just tried to put the race together in his head, how it would play. And he was a huge pace guy.
But he was a horse player, right? He wasn't a man on the backside.
No.
He was just a general racing fan that loved the game and introduced you guys to it.
Yeah, he worked for the phone company. He worked for the phone company for 30, 35 years, retired from Michigan Bell, and just loved the horses. And yeah, but he loved to analyze the race and see how it was going to play out.
Solve the puzzle, right?
Yes.
That's what we're going to try and do and solve the puzzle on today's 12-race card. We're going to go back and forth. Dennis is going to take the odd races, beginning with race number 1, and then Shane will take the even-numbered races. But in race number 1, we've got a stakes race already. It's the Possibly Perfect Stakes, $100,000 guaranteed for fillies and mares, 1.25 miles on the turf course. The rails today are at 0 feet. And, of course, race 1 begins the popular 50-cent early pick 5 wager. We've got a field of 5. Morning line favorite number 2, Queen of the Temple from the Dan Blacker Barn, 8-5 according to John White. How do you see the race according to Dennis O'Neill?
You know, it sure looks like it runs through Dan Blacker. Dan does an awesome job, especially with these grass horses. He should get a perfect pace set up. He looks like the fastest horse in the race, or she does. You know, I think Michael's horse on the outside has a chance to hit the try, and I'll probably play something like Dan's horse on top with Buzz of New York and Australia Mia.
Dennis, you know, the more involved I am in the game, and of course I've been doing it for a long, long time, I just marvel at the competitiveness that's really done on a daily basis on the backside. And just looking through the list of these 5 trainers, Vladimir Seren, Dan Blacker, Phil D'Amato, Leonard Powell, and Michael McCarthy, they are top-notch horsemen, and you can't discount really any of them because they're so sharp.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, Bob Baffert, I can remember telling me 20 years ago saying that the hardest part about training a good horse is getting a good horse. You know, and that's a
almost like
thing.
College basketball, right? You need the
is.
athletes in order to really develop a championship team.
Yeah, I don't want to badmouth coaches because I'm kind of buddies with Mick Cronin, but
And Chip Kelly.
yeah, and Chip Kelly, but and Rick Pitino. But you got to have the horses. If you don't have the horses, it doesn't matter how good a trainer are you, how good a coach you are, you're not going to win.
And speaking of horses, ironically, the Peter Pan race back at Belmont Park on Memorial Day weekend turned out to be a productive race. The winner, Archangelo, won the Belmont Stakes, but you finished 3rd with Henry Q. You decided to ship cross country. How did he come out of the race, and how's he doing?
He ran fantastic. He's running next weekend. I think it's the Ohio Derby, or a $500,000 race next weekend. He worked really, really good this morning. I talked to Doug this morning, and he was really excited.
His maiden victory with Frankie Dettori certainly stamped him as maybe one of the best 3-year-olds in the country. And we've seen time and time again, some horses, it takes them longer to basically develop both mentally and physically. He could develop into a really nice horse the remainder of the year.
You know, he's a beautiful horse. We bought him as a yearling, which we don't do a lot of yearling stuff. And Doug really, really liked him. We were together at the September yearling sale. he's a big horse, and he's just I think he's going to take a while. We thought he'd be a lot better as a 3-year-old, and maybe he's starting to come into himself now, and we thought he'd be a little later developing.
And it's great to see prominent celebrities like Chip Kelly, Mick Cronin, and Rick Pitino really get involved in the game. They love handicapping. I mean, I've been with them as well. They absolutely adore handicapping. It takes them out of their real world and kind of creates an escape mechanism for them.
Oh, it's hilarious. We were here last weekend for the Belmont, and Mick was upstairs in the suites with a cigar hanging out of his mouth going through the form. He absolutely loves the game, and it's a lot of fun to be around those guys.
Shane, you're a freshman at UCLA. You have any high hopes for either their football or basketball team this year from what you've heard?
Well, football with the Dante Moore now coming down to be a freshman quarterback, that should be a lot of fun. So those would be some great games, the Rose Bowl. And then obviously the Big Ten the following year.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, we're having Ohio State play at home the first season, so that'll be awesome.
It's funny for us old guys seeing UCLA and USC in the Big Ten is kind of an oxymoron, but from a competitive standpoint, it's off the charts, unbelievably going to be successful in my opinion, simply because of the matchups that you mentioned.
For sure, it'll be a lot tougher, but I think we're ready to take the challenge.
Well, speaking of tough, let's take a look at race number 2. Begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We're sprinting 5 furlongs in the main track for maiden special weight 2-year-olds. We've got a field of 6. Muth, I believe, is how it's pronounced, but don't hold me to that. From the Bob Baffert barn, a first-time starter, is the 4-5 morning line favorite. The Iowa bred number 4, Please Use the Portal, is trained by your uncle Doug O'Neill. Shane, 6-1 on John White's morning line. Before you give us your selection, what can you tell us about Please Use the Portal?
Please Use the Portal. You know, a cheaper horse with a really good pedigree. Mendelssohn, my dad's big fan of Mendelssohn and the Medagliadoro mare. So great pedigree. I think he's going to need a little more time to come around. You used him underneath, but and especially when you're taking on a $2 million Baffert, he's in a little tough.
Who do you like in the race and why?
I picked Muth on top. Please Use the Portal. I am going to try to beat the 6. This is not a race that I'm going to put too much money into just because the 6 is going to be such a huge favorite. You know, I'm going to try to beat him just because the work pattern for a Baffert trainee, although he knows what he's doing a lot better than I do, work pattern is just not what I'm used to for one of his 2-year-olds. Only 4 half-mile drills. Usually it seems like he cranks them a little bit more than that. But I'm looking at these workouts on XBTV on these other runners in here. There's no one that really stood out to me. So I was really confused here, but I'm not going to play much, but I would play him on top.
Dennis, a good lawyer always asks a question that they know the answer to, but I don't know the answer to this question, so I'm going to go out on a limb and ask you. Please Use the Portal started his training campaign at Keeneland before shipping out west. Do you know the reason why that was?
I think originally it was going to be a ship and win type of horse, and then they shipped quite a few horses back, and some of the owners wanted to run out here. I know Neil loves running those horses out here, and so they shipped them out here to run. Fair
enough. Let's take a look at race number 3. We're going 1 mile of the turf course for fillies and mares. Allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 2. Other than, we've got a field of 8. Lukewarm morning line favorite from the Phil D'Amato barn is number 2, Kitty Katana, 3-1 according to John White. Talk to us about race 3, Dennis.
Yeah, you know, now it starts to get fun. You know, you get some 8-horse fields,
some
here.
Meat on the bone, right?
Yeah, and it's a wide open race. I mean, this horse is probably going to be 5-2 or 3-1 as the favorite. I actually like the other Phil horse. I think Leisure Wear has a huge chance coming off a big win. Finished really, really good that day. Looks really good on numbers. His training good. And I think Phil's kind of got a hold on this race, but I'm going to play those 2. 2
and 4 in race number 3, according to bloodstock agent Dennis O'Neill. A question for you, Dennis. In the old days, handicappers used to say, why run 2 when 1 will do? But now the condition book obviously is very, very different. So it's not as easy as that as it used to be back in the day.
Yeah, and it's hard to get races to go. And, you know, a lot of times you just don't have a choice. Owners aren't happy about that, but yeah, you're 100% right. You just got to go when the races are going and hope for the best.
And you mentioned the Ship and Win program. That is actually a big benefit to Southern California racing. Are you guys actively looking to claim runners, or are you just looking to ship in runners that you already have run at other jurisdictions?
A lot of the babies that we bought, I bought about 20 this year at OBS and at Phasic, went right into Kentucky. And we've had a couple, in fact, one later in the card won. And so we shipped a lot down there, and then they'll show up at Del Mar. I actually ran one with Patrick Biancone the other day, and that horse will ship up. She ran 3rd. So, yeah, taking advantage of, you know, whatever we can do.
Shane, a question for you, maybe just because you're part of Team O'Neill. With the Breeders' Cup being here, right here at the Great Race Place, the first weekend in November, is that kind of an ultimate goal for your uncle in terms of what he's doing with his horses between now and then, if you know?
I think absolutely. I mean, every horse now that wins an allowance race throughout until November, the question is, what division do they fit in for the Breeders'
Thanks for
Cup?
dinner time,
Yes.
dinner time conversation.
Yes, and it's always fun when you have a horse that has potential and you don't know what the future holds to plan out a route and get back to Santa Anita for the first Saturday in November.
Let's take a look at race number 4. We're back on the main track, 6 furlongs of the distance. Fillies and mares, that's a starter optional claiming race. We've got a field of 7, and the bottom runner, the 6-year-old mare, Bella Ranella, is the 2-1 morning line favorite. This looks to be a bit of a hodgepodge. How'd you see it, Shane?
Well, I started out with, first off, this condition is a tricky condition to figure out.
Very much so.
Yes, but these 6 furlong dirt sprints, there's a big speed bias and probably more inside speed bias than anything.
We certainly saw it the last couple days.
For sure. So I picked the one on top, and I really like this 4-year-old filly. She second off a claim, coming back to the dirt after trying a turf sprint, and the starting 4 back just kind of moved up the ranks. Won a maiden 20, then a 12-5 restricted, then a 29 win 3. This seems like this filly's kind of found her grooves, getting better and better. I think she'll be a decent, probably right around a 3-1, which I think is a good price for this filly. Tiago and Paraban team up really well together recently, 33% or 35% over the last year and a half or so. So I really like that 4-year-old filly on the inside, and then Bella Ranella on the outside also has won some tough, those open 20 claimers, open 12-5 claimers, those are some tough races. So I think she's going to be tough from the outside as well, but I really like the one.
Dennis, a question for you. You heard Shane and I talk about the potential bias on the main track the last couple of days. Some real serious handicappers like Kurt Hoover don't believe that track biases exist. You're a Sheets type of guy. Do you think that biases exist on the main track?
You know, my thing is if a horse gets a lone speed, that to me is a big thing. I'm not a big bias guy, but like I say, I think the way a race sets up, and if a horse gets an easy lead, that there definitely is a bias there.
Who is the most successful horse that you were the underbidder on, if you know? Is there one or two horses that you wish you had another $5,000 or $10,000 that would be in your barn rather than somebody else's?
Not even 5 or 10, but I love Big Brown. When Big Brown was
I'm sorry to bring up old wounds.
I know. Eddie Woods had Big Brown, and I absolutely loved him. And it's like, God, I'd be a legend. I would have had 3 Kentucky Derby winners.
You already are. Stop kidding yourself.
But I had Paul, and I think he went for 200,000, and we needed to go 210 or 220. We would have bought him. But that one sticks out for me.
And I remember when he broke his maiden at Saratoga by open lengths. Not many runners do that. And right there, even as an early 2-year-old, you knew that he was something special.
Yeah, he was gorgeous. He was absolutely a gorgeous horse. I think he belonged to me or something. He wasn't really well bred, but he was just a beautiful horse. His breed, I think it was at Santa Anita, the 2-year-old sailor at Pomona. And just a beautiful breeze and a beautiful horse.
You can't win them all, whether you're a handicapper or a bloodstock agent, that's for sure. Speaking of winning them all, race number 5 is our feature race on the card. It's the Grade 3 San Juan Capistrano Stakes, going 1 3/4 miles on the turf course. Charlie Whittingham, the legendary trainer, won this race 14 times. Go ahead and look it up. Unbelievable. And certainly Dennis and I remember some of those. Shane does not. We've got a field of 6, morning line favorite, Awfully Naughty from the Michael McCarthy barn. Certainly looks like a long distance specialist. 4 to 5. How'd you see the race, Dennis?
You know, this is hilarious. This is a $4,000 OBS buy. I mean,
you weren't the underbidder on this one,
no,
were you?
I can't take any credit at all. The funny thing is, I just bought the half to this horse for George Yeager, Big G.
Yep, BG Stables.
BG Stables, yeah. And that horse is at Keeneland, getting pretty close to running. Didn't pay $4,000, a little bit more than that, but so I kind of have a self-interest here that I'm hoping he continues to run good for George. I actually like the Mandela horse. He didn't have the greatest trips in the world last time. He's training really good. He's got a huge chance. I don't think at 4 to 5, this horse is that big of a favorite. I think Duvet Day, the 2-horse also, Michael's other horse, is very, very live too. But I don't think I'll single. I think I'll take a couple and try to beat him.
Closing out the late pick 5, 1, 2, and 5 in no particular order for our seminar guest, Dennis O'Neill, with his son, Shane. Race number 6 begins the 50-cent middle pick 4. That's right. On a 12-race card, we offer a middle pick 4, and we kick things off going 6.5 furlongs in the main track for Calbred. Allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. We've got a field of 9. Number 6, My Man Bags from the Mark Lapp barn, is the 5 to 2 morning line favorite. How'd you see the race, Shane?
Well, I saw this as a good old-fashioned speed duel between the 6, My Man Bags, and the 9, Sawasti? Sawasti, thank you, something like that. And 6.5, interesting statistically, this meets 6.5 is a lot more fair than 6 on the main track. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but it seems like there's less of a speed bias. So I think those two tire each other out. And I like Mr. Bold, the 8. Edwin Maldonado, Jeff Bondi, coming off quite a big layoff. But if you look at this horse's races from 2022, I think he's got the most talent in here. The question is if he can run back to it. I think he's going to be a decent price, 4-1 morning line. I think he could stay right around there. Might drop a little bit if people think he'll run well off the layoff. He's got a consistent work pattern coming back, a couple quick drills. And he's definitely a closer. So I think it's going to suit him the way this race sets up. And I think he's tough. Only question is the layoff.
Dennis, a question for you. Shane's top pick, number 8, Mr. Bold, is 7 for 17 lifetime. So he certainly has a nose for the winner's circle. You mentioned heart a little bit earlier. That's really what it comes down to, right? In other words, horses that have that competitive spirit are exactly what you want in your barn. Runners like Mr. Bold.
Yeah, it's funny. I had that conversation with Mick Cronin, and you get high school kids that are just absolute stars, and they get into the college ranks, and you can't find them. But it's the same thing with horses. It's just, can they handle that pressure and that, everything going on in the race? And the ones that do, you can see them. They're classy horses, and that's the hard part. Class does exist in horse racing. The question becomes how you measure it, but certainly that's part of the puzzle. Race number 7 begins everything that we're waiting for. It's the 20-cent pick 6 with mandatory payout. The current carryover is $346,000. I'm going to put it out there right now. I think new money is going to be $4 million on top of that $346,000. The competitiveness of the 6th race sequence is going to attract the attention of handicappers from all around the country. And we kick things off sprinting 6 furlongs on the flat turf course for Calbred, fillies and mares. Non-winners of 1 other than. We've got a field of 9. Number 9, Hotitude, is the 3-1 morning line favorite. Before we talk about Hotitude or who else you might like in the race, Dennis, let's talk about number 1, Stay and Scam. Just one career start, now goes over to the turf. Talk to us about Stay and Scam first. That was the horse I was talking about earlier that they were going to put a race in Indiana and then ship out for the ship and win, and the horse accidentally won. So hate when that happens. That horse can run. It's just this is a tough spot. There's a ton of speed in here, which doesn't help, and we'll have to see how it goes. Square Eddie's love the grass. Mario's just going to have to figure out a trip from in there, so that makes it tough. But we can see graphically you do give top preference to the favorite, number 9, Hotitude. Why would that be? Juan Hernandez is so good right now. He's just so confident and riding so well, and I love the outside post. Numbers-wise, he's fastest. I think there's a ton of speed in here, and I actually think this horse can rate a little bit. So coming up with a really good work. I just think he gets the trip. I don't think I'll single, but I think that if you were going to single, that would be the one. 7-year-old mares probably aren't good, singles. But I do have a question for you, Tom. Oh, boy. I thought I was the only one asking the question. No, fire away. I got one for you. The last race yesterday before it ran, do you think some of the management here were doing maybe shots about... Oh, my God. Particularly the insurance executive who guaranteed the $1 million payout. That was an incredible sequence, wasn't it? I think it was 4 horses alive. There was, including the one who was Lady J, who led to deep stretch and then got caught by the favorite trained by Jeff Mullins. And you're absolutely right. Nobody even had 6 in that sequence. The person who played the ticket, it was played at FanDuel online, and that particular horse player used 1, 2, 7, 9, and not the 3, thinking because it was the favorite, there would be multiple tickets. But in fact, if he or she had used the favorite, he would still be the only ticket, despite the horse being the favorite. I was waiting for Nate Newby to run out on the track about the 16th pole with his hair on fire, run interference, and make sure they didn't have it. Yeah, it was unfortunate for that particular horse player, but it was a blessing for the rest of us that we can dive in today. Speaking about Hotitude, Dennis, a question for you. You can see that Kristen's in a tough spot. This mare's won the condition, so she's got a runner for 40. With Delmar right around the corner, even though she's 7 years old, do you think there'll be claims in for her today? She's had a long layoff, so obviously there might be some issues there. The horse is 7 years old. Broodmare wise, she made $240,000, but she's not real incredibly bred or anything like that. So in my mind, it's a great spot. Sure. I mean, it's a good pot, $63,000. So I think if these people got $100,000 or $70,000 or $80,000 for this mare, I think they'd be more than happy. They'd be as happy as Nate Newby was yesterday after the last race. Race number 8, take a look at this field size. A field of 12, which also begins the 50-cent late pick 5. It's for maiden special weights going 6 furlongs. Doug O'Neill has 3 runners in here, as does Mr. Bob Baffert. So one of the Bob Baffert runners draw near the inside. Elwood Blues is the 3-1 morning line favorite. Quickly, Shane, if you can, talk to us about the 3 Doug O'Neill runners, starting with number 7, Johnny Drama.
Johnny Drama, first-time starter, Glenn Sorgenstein, great guy, great friend of ours. breeder and owner. He's got some bullets from St. Louis Ray. Not easy to work under a minute at St. Louis Ray.
He owned the sire, Golden Sense, didn't he?
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Two-time Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile winner.
Broke from the outside post on a flat mile here for the Breeders' Cup. Incredible performance.
Who bought him? Do you know?
I think you did. I think. Anyways, so Johnny Drama definitely with a chance. 15-1, I think, is a decent price. Midnight Fury coming off over a year layoff, first time gelding, and has been working well. Worked with Henry Q actually last week. You can see it on XBTV. Never really was asked, and Henry Q was pushed along past him, and Midnight Fury I thought stood up well, and then on the far outside.
Did you buy Midnight Fury, Dennis?
I did.
Okay.
This is a horse we have really, really high hopes for, and he's first time gelding today, and the horse can run. We're just waiting for him to show up.
Sorry to interrupt, Shane. And then number
No,
12,
you're good.
Sergeant Lee.
Sergeant Lee, don't know much about him. He's coming off a long break. There was definitely, you bought this horse as well, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
I see a common theme here.
But we thought he was really good before he debuted at Ellis last.
You get back to the heart thing.
Yeah.
They train like freaks, and then they.
Big
Well, no, he
difference
could
between
show up
morning
today.
glory and an
Yeah.
afternoon superstar, right?
That's it.
All right, we went through the 3 Doug O'Neill runners. Who do you like in race 8, Shane, and why?
I'm a big fan of this is a great race, by the way. 12-horse field, pretty wide open if you look past a couple of efforts. Sir Atticus, the 5. John Sheriff's, Mike Smith. John Sheriff's is 4% with first-time starters. His maiden second time out is much better. So I think a lot of Sheriff's horses need to get a race into them, and they're much better. If you look at the comment and the replay of that race, bucked is an understatement. The horse just randomly threw his head up in the air, lost 4 lengths down the backstretch, then went 7 wide, comes out of the same race as a couple others in here, and he made up plenty of ground in the stretch. 6-1 is a good price. You know, the tricky, you don't know how good he is, right? That's the tricky part. Well, really, that's the case for all these in here, I suppose. But if he goes a little north of 6-1, I think he's a really good price. This is definitely a spread race, though. And here, 5th Street, also $950,000 for Mr. Baffert, and the 10-hole 3-year-old colt has been putting in some bullets. It's a tough race.
It sure is. And it gets tougher even in race number 9, which begins the 50-cent late pick 4. 6.5 furlongs on the flat turf course. Maiden special weight Calbred, fillies and mares. Field of 11, morning line favorite number 2, Idesia from the Phil D'Amato barn. 5-2 on the morning line. A lot of ways you can go here, Dennis. Which way you going?
Yeah, I want to try to beat this horse, and I keep coming back to him. I like Magic Game. I mean, he looks like definitely a turf horse. He's 4 for 7 on the grass, and he finished second out of 3 tries going down the hill. And I think those two are the obvious choices, but I actually think Craig Lewis's horse, the Rough Ride, has a chance. Organic definitely has a chance, but he seems to get late every time.
You turning the page on Benster, who's a daughter of I'll Have Another?
Yeah.
Even with Lasix?
Hopefully Mr. Redham isn't watching this.
Right,
Yes.
nobody's watching, don't worry. So you like Idesia and Magic Game. Magic Game, let's just focus on her for a minute. She's got 10 starts with 5 seconds. As a handicapper, that always is pause for cause for me. Do you think she's going to be able to push through and win today?
Yeah, I do. I always go back to my dad used to tell me years and years ago, the man with the fastest horse wins the race. And if this horse is the fastest horse, he's going to win.
It's called horse racing for a reason, right?
There you go.
Race number 10, we're going 2 turns on the main track. 1 mile is the distance. Allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. Scratch the 2 also eligibles. Still leaves us with a field of 10. The morning line favorite, once again, from the Bob Baffert barn is number 3, Flying Drummer, 5-2 on John White's morning line. Talk to us about race 10, Shane.
Yeah, Flying Drummer 5-2 this horse is gonna get bad. It's gonna be too low for me. I mean, he runs. We talked about the bounce theory. He runs his career best, way best on buyers, 20 points higher than before. But that, coming from a 2-year-old to a 4-year-old, obviously it's a lot different. So I'm not gonna play him. I just think he ran a big race. He's got to regress a little bit. But once again, Mr. Baffert knows a lot more than I do. Towards the outside, I like Manitowish. I couldn't figure this out. Manitowish.
Yep.
All right. Martina Valenzuela and Ramon Vasquez. I think this is a really talented horse. And, those starter allowance races here that are open starters without the, win restrictions, those are tough races. I compare those very similarly to the first conditions here. So I think he's a really talented horse. He's got speed. And if you look 2 back, in that 25 starter on April 8th, Lovesick Blues next out won a first condition and then was 3rd in the Daytona. So some good horses coming out of his races.
Race number 11 is for 3-year-old fillies, non-winners of one other than. It's an allowance optional claiming race, sprinting 6 furlongs in the turf course. Good field of 9. Number 4, Itzel from the Peter Miller barn is the 5-2 morning line favorite. There's that guy, Juan Hernandez again. Winners win, Dennis. Who do you like in race 11 and why?
You know, I kind of like With Love. I think this Frasu kid is
unbelievable.
He is. I think he's the best rider to come along here in a long, long time. I mean, probably since Flavian Pratt, but I love him. He finishes so well. He's always got his horse in the right spot.
He's very strong.
He's very strong finisher. He showed that yesterday in one of the races. He went by someone right in the stretch. But this horse just had a horrible trip. He was off really slow. And I think if he breaks with the field, he's going to be really tough today. And then I like the Sormos horse too, Kent's horse, Spicy Bug. I think that horse has a huge chance and probably use the favorite too. But my bet's going to be With Love.
And Dennis's top pick, number 2, With Love, ran against Doler last time, now runs against her own age group, which certainly some would consider a drop in class. Now, Dennis, you're a bloodstock agent, so you know it takes 2 to tangle. And, of course, the sire is important, but so is the dam. So we haven't given any love to the dam of Shane O'Neill yet, Tammy O'Neill. Let's talk about her a little bit. How long have you guys been married? And I know how you met, but let's tell the general public how you guys met.
We met at Hollywood Park 23 years ago.
She's a mutual teller.
She's a mutual teller. She works in the suites and loves her job. And
loves her family.
Loves Santa Anita, loves her family, and she calls Shane. What does she call you? Her
Angel Face Boy.
Her Angel Face
Thank
Boy.
you. Yeah.
He's 19 years old.
Sons always can deceive their mother, can't they?
I said, probably about 4 or 5 years old, we should have let go of that. But still at 19, we got Angel Face Boy every time she sees him. So.
And he's a licensed pilot as well.
Exactly.
Close out the day, close out the week, and close out the meet in race number 12. Keep in mind, mandatory payouts in all pools today since it's closing day, which means the super high 5 pool in the last race must be paid out. And we close it out going 1 mile on the turf course for maiden special weights. Again, scratch the also eligibles. 13 and 14 leaves us with a field of 12. Morning line favorite near the outside, the 4-year-old, number 10, Quality Wins, 7-2 on the morning line. But take a look. Doug O'Neill has 2 in here, including number 3, Precision Strike. What do you know about these 2 runners, Shane?
Precision Strike, I think you just have to throw out the last race. He's much better than that. He was beat 9 lengths last time out. You throw that out. He's run 2 good races on the turf. I think he's going to fire back pretty strong today. Mystification is a Mr. Dennis O'Neill purchase. So we're really high on this horse. The only trouble is going to be to switch to the turf. Good Magic is 4% on the offspring on their first try on the turf. So that's a little concerning. But if he gets to the turf, I think this horse wants to. Dad, you bought this horse to go long, right? I mean,
yeah, definitely. I mean, I paid a lot of money for him, and we're really disappointed. First out, he got left, and then second time out, didn't have the greatest trip either. Kind of regressed, I think, a little bit too. I love this horse today. I mean, I'll probably. If I can get to this race and have this horse singled, I'm going to feel like I have a chance.
We might see you running around the track with your hair on fire if you get the pick 6 today, Dennis.
Doing that, yes.
I want to thank both of you so much for your time and input and energy today. You certainly are symbolic of the relationship that a father has with their children. Nothing but the best of luck, not only today, but going forward as well with all your runners and particularly at the window. It's a pleasure being able to call you guys friends, and thanks again for all your friendship.
Thank you, Tom, so
Thank you,
much.
Tom,
It's
so
awesome.
much.
Thanks to all of you for watching as well. Keep in mind, happy Father's Day, so enjoy the day. Live racing in Southern California resumes this coming Friday at Los Alamitos. Opening day at Del Mar is Friday, July 21st, and we'll come back here to the Great Race Place on Friday, September 29th. Hope you enjoyed the show, everybody. Have a great day, and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we direct your attention to the winner's circle and ask you to please rise as we welcome Maya Sykes, who will perform the Star-Spangled Banner. Maya Sykes, a Yale graduate, is a singer, songwriter, and arranger. Her recording and live performance credits include Macy Gray, Billy Idol, and Ringo Starr. After her 4-chair-turning performance on NBC's The Voice, Maya became a celebrated featured singer with YouTube sensations Scary Pockets and Postmodern Jukebox. She is currently finishing her own album, as well as music for season 2 of the BET Plus hit series, Sacrifice. Please rise to honor America as we proudly present our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see